Today I'm going to be setting up Docker on a Debian virtual machine with storage from an OpenMediaVault server. If you want to see how I'm doing this, come check it out. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is set up some storage for my Docker containers. I'm going to sign into OpenMediaVault here. And in order for me to create some storage, I need to create a shared folder. So I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call this one Docker because that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to use the existing file system we created in my last video. And I'm going to give this one everyone read-write access. I'm going to restrict the access by IP, as you'll see in a bit. So I'll save that and then apply the configuration. And then I want to create an NFS share right here. And this will allow me to share that storage with my new virtual machine. And I'm going to restrict this by IP address, so I'm going to create this one at 162 and give this read-write access. And these settings all look good, so I'm going to save it and apply it. Okay, and I see I've got some alerts here. I got some updates available, so I'm going to run them. I'll install the updates. It's important to keep everything up to date. Okay, it looks like the updates are complete. It says I have to apply configuration changes again, so I'll do that. And now my storage should be configured for my Docker instance. But it looks like I need to reboot this or restart the system, so I'm going to do that right now. We'll go system reboot. Then I'm going to switch over while that's rebooting to Proxmox here, and I'm going to create a new virtual machine using my template. I'm going to call this one Docker. I'm going to give that a full clone, and we'll clone it. Okay, so it looks like the clone has been created. I'm going to boot this up, then I'm going to create a static IP assignment for it, and then I'm going to reboot it, and I will be right back. Alright, as you can see here, I've assigned the IP that I was planning on using, and this system is ready to go. So I'm going to SSH into this new VM. Alright, so now I'm SSH'd into my new Docker VM, and the first thing I want to do is set up that storage. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to create a directory for it to be mounted to. So I'm going to change to the MNT directory, and I'm going to create a new directory. So I'm going to need sudo on this one. Then I'm going to call it apps, and that's where all my programs are going to be running out of. Alright, and in order to get this remote file system to auto mount at boot, I'm going to have to edit my FS tab. So I'm going to go sudo vim etc fs tab, and I want to go to the very bottom, and I'll mount 192.168.240.161. This is the IP address of my OpenMediaVault server, and I believe I called the shared Docker. And I'm going to mount that to MNT apps. That is an NFS share, and I will leave those as zeros. So now I should be able to mount MNT apps. Oh, right. I need to get an NFS common package installed as well. So we'll go sudo apt install NFS common. Now we should be able to mount that file system. Okay, so I did some digging and I realized I forgot to put in here the defaults option. So now I should be able to sudo systemctl daemon reload. Now I should be able to mount that file system. And it looks like it worked. So since I've got network storage set up and it's also relying on a virtual machine on Proxmox, I'm going to want to change the boot order on these things to make sure that my storage is available before my Docker instance tries to mount this file share. So I'm going to switch over to Proxmox here, and I'm going to give these things a boot priority. So if I go to storage and options, I want to change the boot order on this. I'm going to give this one a boot order of 1 with a startup delay of, we'll say, 60 seconds. So what that means is when Proxmox boots up, the storage VM is going to boot up first. It's going to wait 60 seconds, and then it will start up Docker. And I want this one to start up boot. And I'm going to give this one a startup order of number 2. This way, the storage device should already be booted up before Docker boots up, and I won't have any issues mounting that file system. Okay, so now I'm going to have to install Docker. I'm going to use the directions right from Docker's website. I'm going to cd back into my home directory because I don't need to be here, and there's just a few commands that need to be copied from their website. So I'm going to copy them and paste them in here. Okay, so the Docker repositories are now installed, and I should be able to install Docker. And I'm just going to copy this command from the Docker website as well, because there's a whole bunch of packages that need to be installed. And then I'm going to run the Docker hello world just to make sure that it's working. Excellent. So this hello from Docker message means that it's working and we're ready to go. Now the last thing I want to do is add my user to the Docker group so that I don't have to use sudo for all the commands. So I'm going to say sudo usermod -ag docker and hwhl. So now I should be in the Docker group. So to make sure, I'll just type groups. Alright, so I did have to log out and log back in. But as you can see now, I am part of the Docker group. And this way I can do my Docker commands without having to use sudo. And that's kind of how I want to leave it for today. Thanks for watching.